So welcome to a new look Diecast Restos. As ever, I am Jason and this will be a custom makeover on this Matchbox 5 Series BMW. This casting of the 3rd generation 5 Series, which was designated E34, was produced from 1989 to 1994. The real car ran from 1987 to 1996. This custom project will act as a test bed for some new paints, while I fill out some of the missing grille and trim detail. The 1 in 61 casting came in black initially, which did have the silver trim applied to the headlights before swapping to this racing livery in white. Originally, the white livery came with prominent Fina Oil Company branding, along with Michelin, Sachs and Bendix logos. Its design was similar to that of the Fina sponsored E33 series BMW, competing in German touring car racing of the era. However, subsequent issues lost all of this sponsorship, resulting in just Bilstein and BMW team branding remaining alongside the livery. Rare red versions of the 5 Series were also made. The 535i version of the E34 5 Series began production on the 2nd of November 1987, replacing the 6-year-old 2nd generation E28. The high-performance M5 followed on from its predecessor's introduction by launching in 1988. The casting to me looks to be based on the regular 5 Series over the M5. The E34 M5 had very subtly smoother bumpers and unique rocker panels. Total production for the E34 5 Series surpassed 1.3 million units by the time production ceased in June of 1996. A rare all-wheel drive E34 exists, the 525iX, of which only 9,366 cars were produced. This was the first all-wheel drive 5 Series and the only all-wheel drive E34. Otherwise, all cars were in the then standard BMW FR layout. Engine choices varied from a 1.8 litre straight 4 to a 3 to 4 litre V8, with a series of 2 to 3.8 litre straight 6s in between. As well as the typical executive 4-door sedan body, a 5-door wagon was introduced in 1992 and was known as the Touring, another first for the 5 Series. Now for my custom build today, I'll be returning this to a non-racing guise. I'll add in some detailing and also give it a new set of BBS style wheels. I'll be going with a new silver paint, Tamiya's TS83 metallic silver in fact, which will replace that resilient old white coat. It wasn't in the worst condition to begin with, but was showing some signs of good play wear, in particular on these trimless 8-dot wheels. Some Molotow sees that they will live on to fight another day, while these are my deep BBS style rims getting primed for painting. I'll coat these in my go-to silver TS30 silver leaf to compare to the body later on. Now though, Tamiya advise a coat of TS14 black as an undercoat to their gold and silver metallics, so I do just that. I've seen the peeling horrible results of those who have not heeded Tamiya's advice. Even a regular black doesn't seem to work, it just has to be TS14. The can even warns not to apply a clear coat over the metallic paint to avoid damage. So on goes my TS30. I know comparing plastic or resin to cast metal is like comparing chalk and cheese, but I wanted to see how the two shades complemented or contrasted one another. Laziness prevails for the grille as I attempt to avoid detailing further black by taping it off. As on goes my new TS83 for a test run. It sits on the black very well, and I noticed just how thick it applies. One coat and it doesn't reveal a speck of black. Depending on how it dries, I am so far highly impressed. The same goes for the base to allow for the colour-coded bumpers. It has a wonderfully soft metallic sheen. After 2 coats, it's time to reveal my cheek grille. As a bit of a shortcut, that's come out looking really rather good. No clear coat required, just good old adhesion. The 3M blue tape does work wonders. It's ripe for detailing, but first I'll add in some more black to the rest of the body. The plastic door guard strips were never colour coded on the E34, not even on the M5, so they've got to go in. Likewise, colour coded door handles weren't something that the Beamer boasted. Also, the B pillars were black plastic, which helped give a pillarless appearance. So I take my time to fill them in with my coloured pens like a child with a 3D colouring book. The plastic protection didn't end on the sides. It continued around the front and all the way across the rear too, like a plastic safety perimeter. I take my 1mm Molotochrome pen to fill out the iconic BMW grille, and I also use it on each of the 4 small round headlights. Each BMW emblem gets a chrome base, onto which I would later apply a dab of blue and white off camera. The turn signal indicator is coloured in orange, and the brake light's naturally red. The front blinkers get a smidgen of orange as well. Now, previously on some of my customs, I've commented that I felt I'd overdone it a bit with the Citadel application, so this time I attempted to scale it back. However, when I'm applying this stuff, it becomes addictive. A panel line here, a shadow there, it's easy to get carried away, as it looks so good while you're doing it. Especially so with this rear light cluster. The pens couldn't fit into those cast gaps, but the Citadel fills it nicely and has a translucent glow that carries the colour of the Sharpie. Going easy with this 5/0 size brush seemed to prevent too much Citadel collecting, but doesn't eliminate the problem completely, as seen here on the fuel filler cap and previously on the sunroof. The grille is glossed over to add an aged veneer too. But now the end is in sight for this build, as I add in some front bumper shading to really help highlight the cast-in details. So here then are my parts for reassembly. I opted to leave the interior its original beige colour, rather than paint it a more predictable black. I actually quite like how it looks next to the silver. In that goes, following the cleaned, slightly yellow tinted window piece. Lastly, the base with pre-fitted custom BBS wheels, as so often seen on BMWs of this era, is attached and screwed in. So this then is how the BMW 5 Series appeared in play-worn condition. Though the resilient white paint had held up well, despite some breaches on the bumpers and sharper edges. For me, this livery without all the extra sponsorship is lacking, and otherwise doesn't really suit an executive saloon car. That said, I have put some bad boy deep dish rims on it, so it isn't really towing the executive car line either now. But here it is, wearing the gorgeous TS83 metallic silver. It has a slightly brushed, almost satin finish, but I'm impressed with the paint application itself. The required detailing complements a strong casting and definitely shows off what it's got. I like the wheels, but I've got it back in the OG 8 dots in the end credits, so do tell me which you would rather. One negative is the slight protrusion of the roof mounted rivet for the window set. It just takes a little of the edge off of the finish. Besides that, I'm pleased to have given a new lease of life to a strong early 90s Matchbox casting, and one that deservedly sat in their 1998 Premier collection. So please do like, comment and subscribe, and if you can, support the channel with a Patreon or YouTube membership. My thanks go out to my existing members. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.